and it was a small community that grew and it grew and it grew, and we just got sick. We got fed up. We saw people like Brzezinski speaking. We were like, you know what? It's time we confront them. It's time we go out there and we talk to them. We saw people like David Rockefeller. We found out where he lives. We're like, you know what? It's time to wait outside his house. It's time to talk to him about what's really going on. And it took us being pissed off. It took us losing one of our greatest members, Dan Wallace. It took us all the negative things to happen for all these positive things to happen. And it just grew out of nowhere, and I'm surprised. I never expected it to grow as big as it did. We have 30 chapters internationally all over the world, even in most of the chapters are in the United States, and it's grown amazingly, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I've seen some of your work. I've seen some of your chapters work, and kind of like you said, the fact that no central leader set up, okay, where people become leaders themselves, okay. I always say to my viewers, I tend to end shows and I'm saying, hey, if there are any real men out there, you know, find me. You know, I haven't been contacted yet, but I'm sure in this little town that I reside in, Sharon, that there are men out there, or people that want to start being a man. And, you know, where asking questions isn't a bad thing. Recently, yesterday or whatever, I was over at Faneuil Hall, and I'll be introducing the people of Sharon to Mr. Stephen Jones, who finally, you know, shows here's scientific evidence. Okay, that you know, explosives were used. We've classified the explosive. We have evidence of the explosive. You know, and now it's not a question anymore. It's not an if thing. It's not a hey, this and that. But well, first off, I'm real proud of you.
Yeah, we definitely have to stay away from leaders. We definitely have to stop looking up to people. We have to look upon ourselves to do what we have to do, because, again, if we don't do what has to be done, we're complacent. We're allowing it to happen.
Well, that's the whole, exactly. It's like saying nothing. When you first said that, you had mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to say there was a great Martin Luther speech. I had learned a little bit about Martin Luther King growing up, whatever they give you in school system, but I didn't really embrace it, didn't know it enough. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago when I started being concerned, getting involved, that I listened to his speeches, all of them, and there was one where he said, hey, this is not the time for silence. He was talking against the Vietnam War, saying that, hey, for this nation to be the great nation that it is, this is not the time to be silent about it. And I think we're in that time. When I say in that time again, it's going to take us. I lost my other train of thought, but
just like Martin Luther said, you know, there comes a time where silence is betrayal.
Yes.
And that's what people also have to understand, that unless people look within themselves and empower themselves and understand what power they have, you know, until then, you know, we're still going to be living the way we are. Until we all realize it, then we can change it. Then we can live the world we live in, and then, you know, in an ideal society. But again, another reason why we're staying away from leaders is because also my experience with the other truth group. This one guy who was the so-called leader, he always claimed himself to be the leader. He was in control of everything, and then he took away everything. He stole the money and he did everything. And that's why, you know, coming out of that, it was like, you know what, why do we have to look up to somebody? Why does one person have to decide everything? You know, we should all decide and do what's right and what feels right. And that's what's great about our organization, We Are Change, is that we don't have a leader.
It's wide open,
leaders. It's wide open. Anybody can be a part of change as long as you do what's right, as long as you be the change that you want to see in this world. And our main goals are just helping out the first responders who are dying and sick because the EPA's lie, getting them proper medical coverage and media coverage, so their whole story gets exposed. And also,
instead of silenced and crushed.
Exactly.
I mean, you know about it, you're in New York, but it's funny, up here just a little bit, Boston, 200 miles away or whatever we are, you know, the people in Boston, they know nothing about the first responders, about, you know, all the problems that they've had, the police, the fire, anybody who was even living down there or down there working the pile. You know, some people came there, well, from all walks of life to try to help.
I think that story shows the mentality of our government. It exposes something that is critically important, because on 9/11, those buildings were full of asbestos. We all know that. They were built with asbestos.
Yeah, they were big white elephants. I had customers in them. I'd been in them. I'm with you.
Exactly. And when they came down, when the EPA did their test, they knew knowingly the air was not safe to breathe. There was asbestos, there was mercury, there was cataract tubes. It was a whole chemical mess down there. And they knowingly lied to open up the stock market. And this is declassified, there's government documents. And it shows the mentality of the government. They ruined 50,000 lives of heroes. I mean, these guys are utterly heroes. For cops, military personnel, people who fought in the war, firefighters who go into burning mills. These people gave their lives on 9/11, and they're losing them now because of the government, because of the lies they were told on 9/11. And they lied just to open up the stock market and make money, just for that profit. They ruined.
I'm with you.
And it just hurts me because, it affected me personally because I know many friends who were affected by it. And let me just share one story really quick. It's of David Miller. He fought in the first Iraq War, he fought in the second Iraq War, and I think he also fought in Afghanistan. On the day of 9/11, he got his gear. He was like, he didn't ask no questions. His wife told him not to go. He still went down there. Now, I mean, the guy has lung cancer, neck cancer, head cancer, lost about 60% of his lung capacity. And he's a good guy off because he has money for his medical bills. There's people out there who don't have money for their medical bills, who don't have money to even feed their families now, so they can't work. And it's people like that that I think all of America needs to understand how they were victimized and used by our government.
David Miller?
Yes, David Miller.
David Miller. Well,
National Guardsman.
A little bit about the 6th anniversary and what you guys did there too, because that's also to benefit all the you guys probably I've never seen anyone else do anything for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's doing it like so. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Can I throw one thing at, before you go into that? And that's, you know how you said, right after, open the stock market back up. Well, also, too, I mean, I remember the other lies, and I try to tell my listeners and stuff that we're being lied to constantly. I remember we should all run out and buy an SUV. Remember that joke of a story? Solve the problems, go out and buy an SUV.
Shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Go shopping, go down there. So, I was fortunate enough to make it down this September or whatever. Tell us about, how it was that we were able to help some of the responders or, benefit them by things that were going on in the
Again, our organization is about just being the change we want to see in this world. And us being around a lot of first responders, we understood that these guys need help. I mean, critical emergency help. I mean, these guys pay about $7,000 a month per medication. And a lot of guys who can't work can't pay that bill, and they're dying because they can't get their proper medical bills. And the unemployment agencies, the health insurance, medical care, they're all ignoring these guys. The government is ignoring these guys, and these guys aren't given a single cent for what they went through on 9/11. And again, these guys needed help. So what we did, we threw off a big 5-day event with the premiere of Loose Change Final Cut, with the premiere of Endgame, and we decided that all the profits from that event should go to the first responders because that's what needs to be done, because they need the money more than anybody.
Because that's the right thing, and you do the right. I'm with you.
Exactly.
You do the right things.
Yeah, we stay away from just It's not about making money. It's not about being a leader and about making money. Because if you're in this movement for that reason, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And that's exactly what we're trying to show by being examples. We don't need the money. People will donate whatever we need to donate, but that profits, it should go to the people who need it. And by doing that, I think we showed a great example to the movement that we need to be proactive, not just protesting, not just having arguments, but we also need to help the people who need the help. And another also step of We Are Change is to help out homeless people. We're working on setting up soup kitchens. Our chapter in New Jersey feeds and shelters homeless people every Sunday, and that's something that we see that change needs to be done in, and that's what we're going to pursue, and that's what we're going to do.
Excellent. My sister, my wife, even tell me, I try to always end stuff on a. When I say try, I haven't always. Sometimes they call me Danny Downer, right? Because I hate when you bring the truth. Sometimes it's not pretty.
Yeah,
sometimes it's not happy. But you've done something good where you've showed people that hey, you can take that truth, you can take that knowledge, and you can do good things that help people and that help the future. And as you say, be the change you want to be.
Exactly.
Luke,
that's the Gandhi quote.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the people watching, listening, and just again, if you're sitting on there, you're doing something wrong. But if you're getting up, you're doing something right, and that's what needs to be done.
Can I do a downer thing just to pick your brain because you're a New Yorker?
Anytime.
Not ask me. Tell me about. I want to call him Giuliani, but you know what? It really irks me when I look at like Rudy, and once again, we've been lied to so many times. I always do my lies with my viewers, and I say, well, gee, when there was warrantless wiretapping, they lied.
Yeah.
And then it was shown that they were doing it. Oh, yeah, we're doing it. When there was secret prisons, they lied.
Yeah.
Oh, we got caught doing secret prisons. Sorry.
WMDs.
Well, I finished with that, but that got us into wars and stuff. But then, it's like, gee, torture. We don't torture people. Oh, now they lied. So now they've legalized all this crap. But here's Rudy the clown, who's, runs away from the scene, okay? Down there, 9/11, he leaves his, quote, command bunker that, I'm sure they tax the heck out of the people, but as a New Yorker, up here, they, the media, once again, what happens in New York seems to say, like, local to New York for some reason, where you think it'd go out, and it only goes out in alternative media, but on the major media, you know it, and I see it, and we face it, my viewers know it.